Geeks, I've got to apologize to you. I have been keeping this retrieve a secret for longer than I've been doing YouTube. But I'm giving it away today. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about a retrieve and a bait or a rig that I love to throw as we get into October. And I like to throw this one and I'm going to fish it on the bank. I know a lot of you geeks know that I love to be out in the middle chasing those bass out in open water, top water, that sort of stuff. But this is one that we're going to be on the bank. And the reason why we're going to be on the bank is because a lot of your panfish are on the bank right now. And so I'm going to use those panfish style colors with this bait in probably a way you may have never thought about using it before. And before I talk about the rig, I'm going to show you the bait or the worm that I'm going to use. So what I'm talking about is actually this little worm right here. This is from Bass Reaper and it's called the Scythe. I know I'm going to butcher that. You know, my hillbilly's going to get it every time. But this is basically a paddle tail worm. It's just extended out. You know, I love what Bass Reaper does. They stay true to their name. So it's kind of, we would call it a sickle. They call it the scythe worm. But it's basically a paddle tail worm. Now, this thing is great Texas rig. But what I'm going to be doing today is rigging it up shaky head. And I'm going to show you why a paddle tail or the scythe is a great worm for this particular retrieve. First, let me show you some of the colors that I picked up from Bass Reaper a little while back. I love Bass Reaper. I've met them several years at, I think maybe the East Tennessee show first, but this is, again, a small company, small business owner. So make sure you get out and you support these small business owners. They make some really incredible baits, and this is one of them. This is black blue flake. This is green pumpkin. This is a wild color. It is called tomato. Good old motor oil. Morning Magic. Cloud 9. Watermelon red. And trust me on this one, geeks, if you're not throwing this color on a shaky head in the wintertime, you're missing out. This bait right here is killer for that. And that is June bug. So one of the reasons why I like to throw this, and I like to throw my two favorite colors in clear water, is going to be a green pumpkin or that watermelon red. Now, depends on wherever you're at. You use whatever color is going to work best for you. But this is one that I like to do. And the reason why is because the panfish are up shallow right now. And something that I like to do, and this is something that I like, I don't like the whole dipping because it puts to me a little bit too much. Some of those younger bluegill or panfish will have just a touch of chartreuse down the fin. And you can see that rise in the middle, and that's basically what I do is I take and color that rise on each side. And what that does is gives just a tiny bit of color to that fin as it's paddling, as it's swinging as it goes down. By the way, I think this is one of my favorite chartreuse markers. I think this is Avid Angler Solutions, and I'll put links to everything, all this in the description below. Now, as far as rigging it goes, most of the time, if I don't have any wind, I'm going to put it on, you know, whatever your favorite shaky head is. I don't even remember what this is, but again, I'll put links in the description. And by the way, geeks, there will be links in the description, like I said just a second ago. But if you want to support this channel and you want to help us out and you like what we do here, or you find some value in a particular video, the best way to support us, because we don't do memberships and we don't do Patreon, that sort of stuff, because we want to be all inclusive to every single one of you all out there. So the best way is to go to the description and click on that link for Tackle Warehouse, bookmark that, or scan this QR code right here on your mobile device and bookmark that link there. And anytime you go to Tackle Warehouse, just use that bookmark and use this link. Doesn't cost you an extra dime, but it does help us out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this right in the middle, and I'm just going to start twisting up on my spring lock here. Get it as straight as I can, but the key to this is I want to make sure this tail is laying like this. So I'm going to make sure that back seam runs straight down the bait. I'm going to measure it out just a little bit, and I'm going to come in, up and through, and keep that as straight as possible. And that is what I want. I want that turned away from the head as is, and I'll explain to you why when we get to retrieves. Last but not least, we're just going to go ahead and tie this on. About 5 or 6 turns, back up through the top, pull it down. We'll clip that tag in, and we are good to go. All right, geeks, listen to me. I love my boat, and I just had to have my boat put in the shop because 2 of the seals were leaking on the trailer, and it was throwing grease out. Luckily, me and Mike smelled it and caught it early, and that saved us maybe some real problems. And that brings me to this. I have heard countless horror stories from countless people talking about boats and their package companies and their bundle companies, and people that don't understand what you need for your boat, whether you're fishing tournaments for fun or you're like me, you're out here doing videos. And that's why I use BIA Insurance, Boater Insurance Agency. I can't tell you, you can go back and look in some of the comments. I had somebody comment just the other day that they got a great price from BIA Insurance. One of you geeks actually brought it to my attention that he had his boat caught in a tornado at the boat ramp. And guess what? We're not going to name the company, but they didn't pay for it. So he's stuck paying his payments on a boat that the insurance company didn't even take care of. So make sure you go check out BIA. Tell them BassGeek sent you. So this is one of the rods that I love to use for my bottom bouncing baits. And the reason why is because it's got incredible sensitivity. This is from Fitzgerald, and this is the HD Stunner. This is a JDM style rod series. You need to check it out, but it is not going to hurt your wallet like a JDM rod series will, but it has all the features of a JDM rod series. This is a 7.3 medium heavy. It is a fast action, and you know, I just love everything about this rod, right down to the handle, so that you can feel every little tick or bite. Love the layout of it, love the carbon fiber look to it. And I've got that coupled with a Lew's Speed Spin Custom Pro. Now this is their older version. They have updated it. I'll leave a link in the description for that. Still a very good reel, in my opinion, the best spinning reel Lew's makes. I've got that coupled with the K9 Braid 10-pound test so that I can cast this thing a mile. It is high vis pink. I like that high vis pink because the water here on the lakes have this green hue to it that I fish, and that yellow sometimes can be a little bit harder to see, especially in the early spring when the pollen's on. So that pink stands out a little bit more. And I've got that going to Pro 100% fluorocarbon Remember, the Pro 100 is the 100% fluorocarbon from K9, and I've got 8 to 10 pound test on that. Generally, in the water that I'm fishing, it's going to be 8 pound test. There is a discount right here. Get 10% off. Order you some of that K9. Best cast and braid on the market. All right, so when I fish this, the retrieve that I'm talking about is a pretty unique retrieve. It's something that I like to do, especially this time of year, especially when those bluegill are up on the banks during the fall, during that October time of year, that September, October time of year. And what I'm going to do that's different than most of the ways that you're going to retrieve a shaky head is I'm not going to drag it at all. So I'm going to make a cast out there. I'm going to let it sink to the bottom. I'm going to get it right to the shallowest part of the bank. And this is something I want to fish down the bank most of the time. What I'm going to do then is I'm just going to lift my rod tip a little bit. And I'm going to let that bait pop up. And then I'm going to let it contour down. And I'm going to let that tail just swim nice and slowly. And then I'm going to give it a little bit after it moves 2, 3, 4, 5 feet. It just swims down that bank. And I'm going to give it the rod tip, set that bait back down, and let it sit there for just a few minutes. I might even shake the slack in the line. But after I do that, I'm just going to lift that rod tip real slow again. And I'm going to let that bait swim, contouring that bottom. And it is a great way to get a bite because the tail of this bait, when you let it contour, has this nice, wide, slow kick to it. So as it goes down, I'm going to fish that down pretty deep. You know, we're clear water here. We're probably 10, 12 feet visibility right now. And what that means to me is that if it's 10 feet, that 15 to 20 foot area is really where my target area is going to be. It's where those bass are going to be sitting at. And if you've got some sort of rock down there, you know you've got some sort of brush pile, it's probably going to be, and it can be even deeper than that. And that's really all there is to this. It is a very unique retrieve with a very unique bait that the bass don't see a lot. I've done it with a lot of other kind of swimtail worms in the past, and man, does it pay off in the fall when they're chasing or ready to feed on those panfish. Now, as far as hook set goes, realistically, it's the same as any other shaky head. You're going to come up at about a 45 or straight up over your head, whichever is going to give you the most leverage. But as quick as you can, get that rod tip down close, even into the water, so that that bass doesn't get leverage on you, doesn't come up, shake its head, throw that bait. A bass walking and shaking its head and jumping out of the water looks good on TV and in videos, but it's not really good for you if you actually want to get them and put them in the boat. So that's why I always get my rod tip down low, close to the water. That way, if they do jump, I can just drag them and fill their mouth full of water, even with a spinning rod like this one. When you get them to the boat, make sure you get the net or get your thumb out there. Put your thumb on them. It's really the only way to get them. You don't want to boat hop a big one. And we caught a pretty nice one today on this. So we wanted to make sure that we put our thumb in his big mouth hole. Now, once you figure out what contour those bass are sitting on, what you can do is you can get your boat and get it in that sort of area to where you're really throwing out a 45 and just swimming that thing down through that, 2, 3, 4, 5 foot contour area. So if they're sitting, let's say, if the visibility is 10 foot and they're setting at that 12 to 15, you just get your boat out there, put it up, throw it right up in that 10 and work it right down through that 15. Make your next cast do the same sort of thing. Trust me, if they're going to eat it, they'll come get it. Now, if you geeks want to learn some more about some really cool baits and support a company like Bass Reaper Baits, who makes unique baits, and they're a small business. I think it's like one guy and his son is all that really does this. Make sure you go check out this video right here. Otherwise, questions, comments in the comment section below. Tell me if you've ever tried this retrieve. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell so you get the notifications when this video comes out. Hey, we hit 90K. We are on our way to the 100K button, man. That is crazy to me. And I thank each and every one of you geeks. You geeks rock.